live a full life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can definitely relate with that because for myself personally, I never had an NDE, but I was just so obsessed with NDEs when it started helping me through the grief of my grandfather dying. And had a major awakening when he died. I started questioning everything, and I was mostly concerned because I wasn't a very good person. You know, when I was younger, I was very mean. I was very manipulative. I was just not a nice person. I loved that version of me, but I wasn't very nice. And so when he died, and I thought, well, what happened to him? What if he went to hell and he was an amazing person? So if he went to hell, then I'm in big trouble. And I got to figure this out now. So that's kind of like, even in my selfishness, it kind of sparked that awakening. And I was obsessed with learning and studying all the stuff. And then, but nothing really gave me the satisfaction and the comfort until I found NDEs, because that felt more like, oh, okay, I believe this. I actually believe this. I actually feel like this is true versus everything else that I've been told to believe or accept. And so I've been obsessed since then. And every NDE that I hear or I listen to or I write about or that are in my books or anything, I always learn something new that I can add to my belief system. So I just love it, all of it.
Yeah, the question is not, is it real? The question is, what version of, I mean, because you've interviewed people, and there's a couple of things that are kind of flow the same, the energy, but they're all so individually different. There's no NDE exactly alike. I mean, not even close. I mean, I've had three NDEs and they don't relate to each other. Totally different experience. And the good thing about this focus and concentration in modern times on NDEs is that people are no longer scared about dying. I think it's relieving that people realize that, you know, life does go on. It's all about consciousness. And every one of my NDEs, I found that there is no break. Like, boom, you're dead, and then you're in darkness looking for something, and you're not there. No, it's a continuum. There's never a time, a moment, a pause when you're not conscious. You are you. And then you realize when you look at the body, it's like old luggage or old clothing laying. It's not you, and you realize that. Even when I was 8 years old, having my NDE at 8 in the hospital, I saw my little body, and I'd go, well, thank God I'm not that. I mean, that's not me. And that's at 8 years old going, no, that's not me. I'm me that's observing and aware and conscious of all this. But the one thing you can't escape, which is a good thing, there's that overwhelming feeling of being loved. Except for a couple of people that I've talked to that have had a dark experience. And there are some, the suicidal, they took their life, or they believed in hell, and I think that your personal belief system helps focus where you're going to go on this journey. And so the God that you believe in, or the divine that you believe in, or the consciousness, one consciousness, whatever it is that you believe in, is going to give you an experience that helps you through what you have to learn and what you got to do. So some people, if they're really a born again Christian, they're gonna, Pentecostals or Assembly of God or somebody, they're gonna have a certain experience. Hindus will have different experience. Buddhists will have a little different experience. Muslim will have a little different experience. Uh, Shamans, from some, they'll have a little different. Everybody will have an experience in their own comfort zone of their own beliefs. Is it all real? Yeah, it's all from them, from the one cosmic mind. So it doesn't matter. And you see things and filter things when you come back. You remember through your own filter. So even though maybe the experience wasn't what you think it was, because you believe in this certain belief, and you'll have an experience, uh, it's shaped by your vocabulary of thought and your ideas and your religion and your background and your social. So you'll filter that experience through your own filters. So, but ultimately, it's always leading back to love and the purpose why we're here. So there you go.
That's
In a nutshell.
wonderful. That is so comforting. I grew up in a Muslim household. I grew up with an Islamic faith. And even though my experience is very different to a lot of other people who grew up Muslim, one thing I've noticed is that we didn't, in my household at least, or my community, and where I learned about my religion, it was not focused on love. It was a lot of fear, very much fear based. So we were told to fear God and, fear death and fear all of these things. And obviously, when you are taught that consistently from childhood, it becomes part of who you are. You make your decisions based on all of this, what you now know as, true or believed to be true at that time. And I find it very, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but it's a big jump to go from one end of the spectrum, which is fear, to the other end, which is love. And to go from the belief system of I need to fear God to God is love. Because even in my household, love wasn't a word we used a lot. Like we wouldn't even say, I love you. That, it wouldn't roll off the tongue like it does now. It's a very strange thing to explain now and to think back on it because I'm so much different now. And I raise my kids so much different now than I was. Um, what was your belief system about, well, your first NDE was at 8 years old, so I'm very curious to know, but what was your belief system about God in general before your NDEs and after? Did they change between the different NDEs? Was that for you?
Well, for most of the people in fact, almost everybody you interview will probably have an answer for that. Say, yes, I've changed this, opened my heart, this changed my perspective. But I'm one of these guys that was born in this world. I was meditating the earliest days I can remember. I was having encounters with other ascended beings. I was seeing angels and having UFO abduction experience. I was having out of body experiences. I mean, I was experiencing the supernatural and the mystical from as earliest memories I got all my entire life. So when I say, yeah, I didn't really, yeah, there's degrees of change. It's more of a reaffirmation of what I believed. To me, God has always been about love. And when I see the opposite out there, hate and stuff, I always remember that ultimately everything is leading to our spiritual evolution. It's all process. And right now we're going through some dark times. And I mean, good grief, South Africa, your country has been through some dark times. And if you look at what you're at now and you went back 50 years, you wouldn't believe it. It's like, oh, it's bad now. No, no, go back 50 years ago. You go, oh, it's much better, right? It's much better. So um, I I believed as I did at 8 years old, which was probably not the normal. I mean, I don't know most kids at 8 years old that are meditating, and leaving their body and traveling and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But that's been my whole way of life, and so everything that's happened to me has just been a journey of the same. And but every time you have a near death experience or a rainbow body experience or a samadhi experience or a double body experience or a time travel experience or my life is all over the place. But every time something like that happens, it's like another download of affirmations affirming that this is the path, this is what's going on. And so, yeah, at 8 years old, it's like, for example, most people that you talk to, a child experience, they have an angel, they're comforted, there's all these things. Bottom line is they're always loved. And in my experience, when I left my body in the hospital, and I'm conscious that we were talking earlier, I was conscious always. There was never a moment where it was like, I'm not me now and I'm waiting to be, birthed in heaven or something, right? No, there's just the transition. It's not even a transition. It's just an awakening process. It's just like, oh, I remember. So all these spiritual experiences, things that happen to people, it's more of a remembrance of who you are and why you're here. Because most people really do not understand their life purpose. Well, got to make money, got to get a career, got to marry, got to have children. There's always things and stuff, but what's your real what's your real journey about? What are you here to learn? What are you here to teach? What are you here to give? What are you here to share? What gifts are you bringing for this world? Is the world going to be a better place when you leave? Most people come in and they're so self-focused on survival, socially, money-wise, physically, health-wise. It's always a fight. And they lose sight of the greater value, which is really here just to love.
Yeah.
And that's people go, what is Reverend Bill talking about? No, it's all about love. And love is service. And there's no such thing as too small of a love.
Mm.
In other words, smiling at somebody and when they're having a bad day or holding somebody's hand, that's love.
Mm.
And it's just as it could change somebody's, alter their day or their future, who knows? So there's no small act of love. It's all part of the continuum, and it's all part of the oneness. So when I go around the world, literally going around the world, I teach people about the power of love. I teach people about the oneness. If there's anything I'm going to talk about, it's like people go, "What's God?" And I'm going, simple. We're all made in the image of God. We're all made from love, embraced by love, kissed by love. Our job is to reflect that love. And when you're reflecting love, you're really letting the God within you expand. And so, and if we're all one, meaning you in South Africa, me here in California, uh, there's an ultimate connection. There's everybody is the one. Everybody is connected. So what happens to you or what happens to me is important to the whole consciousness, because there's one consciousness and we're all part of that. So when you get isolated and focused on your own ego, then you separate yourself from the us, the oneness.
Yeah.
And that's where we get in trouble, because then you get people out there like, President Trump, that it's all about us, us and nobody else, right? So that's not the real world. The real world is there's only one. So learn to love the others. When you love yourself, number one thing, when you love yourself, you're really loving God. When you're loving God, you're loving yourself, then you have to follow up with, you got to love your neighbor as yourself, right? So I see God, my neighbor, and therefore God and me and my neighbor are one. And then you got to go a step further, which I think South Africa did a good job of that, about forgiving your enemies, loving your enemies. That was a hard lesson for the world. South Africa was a great example of that. I mean, I was just like, wow, how could they change governments to give her all this stuff, and they're not out killing people and hanging people, and it's like it's evolution, not revolution. Great lesson that South Africa taught the world. I mean, that's like huge. And so when you embrace God in all, then all are God. God is you. God is us. So people ask me, well, what pronoun do you go by? With this crazy thing in California, he, she, all that crazy stuff, right? I tell people, it's us. It's just us. We're all one. Anyway, so that's kind of the background on that. So I know your show's on NDEs, so I'll just kind of touch a little bit on that. But when I was 8 years old, I already had been read by my mother, the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Came out in 1946, the year I was born, and great book. I love the stories, and I love the story in particular about Babaji's cave and this great avatar coming. And when I'm in the hospital, I was in the hospital for about a year by myself, very lonely times, but I embraced it like a monk. It was like, no, I had visitors 10 minutes once a week, like on a Sunday. Mom and stepdad come by and great, and then they're left. Then the whole rest of the days, 24/7 for a year, I'm there, no television, no books, no school, no classmates, no playmates, no radio, no record players. You got the picture. No, absolutely nothing, just bed every day. And it was one of the greatest experiences I ever had because I embraced it. I said, wow, 8 years old, I'm like an apprentice monk. I don't have a mortgage to pay. I don't have a job to go to. I have to go to school. I got all this time every day, and this is a chance for me to invent. And I invented my own meditation techniques and to go within and to really live inside my own world. And so meditation was my thing all day long. Pretty much, I was out of it. And I developed some healing techniques from that, which helped me. And later I applied to healing dogs and animals and people. And that's another whole story there. But my first night in the hospital, I'm laying in bed all by myself, first time away from home, and in great pain. I had a kidney disease, I had a lung disease, I had 4 or 5, I had like 6 diseases, and it just everything kind of come together. And so when I'm in this great pain, I'm laying in bed in a dark room, and all of a sudden, no pain. I'm still aware, and I'm going, oh, pain's gone. And then I'm aware that there's a body below me, my body, or the body I've been using. And it's this little child that's all looking terrible, he's sick and everything. And then I'm like floating, for better lack of a term, because it's a weightless floating. It's more of an awareness. It's more of a conscious feeling. And then the room gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And pretty soon it's like you're walking in the clouds. It's just like white, billowy clouds and stuff. And it's just nice. And I'm feeling the greatest love. Now, I described this to my friends because I come from an Italian family. It was like a million Italian grandmas, pinching your cheeks and hugging you and all that kind of stuff. And it was that kind of love. It just, you're so embraced by the divine. And at that age, most especially, it's just, and you've interviewed people and they all talk about being loved more than you'll ever know. And I'm telling you that, yeah, I can also tell you this, you don't have to die to have that feeling. So all these people watch these things, oh, I wish I had a near-death experience. Don't ever have that wish. You don't have to practically lose your body and all that to have a spiritual experience. Through meditation and through contemplation and through practice and other things, you can experience these things without having to go to the portals of death, on the edge of death and life. Don't need it. So there I was, and everything lights up around me. And all of a sudden, I realize, because you talk to people and interview them, a lot of people die and then they have a life review. Go back and how'd you treat this person? How'd it affect your life? How'd you make them feel? Well, at 8 years old, what's to review? Nothing. And it's like, you pulled your little sister's ponytail, and you picked on the dog. There's nothing, right? You stepped on some ants. Okay, great. So I had something that I haven't found in anybody else's experiences, something different. And that's, I had a glimpse forward. I saw my life unfolding for 50 years forward. And I'm in watching this, and I'm realizing two things. Number one, that's me, even though it's an adult me, and I'm in a war and I'm getting shot at in Vietnam and everything else. I see the president of the United States getting killed, Kennedy. I see the woman I'm going to marry, and I see the children. I see all this stuff for 50 years. So number one, I'm going, oh, I got to go back to that body because I got 50 years here to live. I knew it was 5 decades. I had an essence of that just by judging. It was like 50 years, but I wasn't exactly sure. And so I saw all these things. And then, of course, you don't remember actually everything, but just before events happen, major stuff. You have a deja vu. You have a remembrance. Oh, this is going to happen like in Vietnam. Oh, I better duck. Boom. And a bolt goes by. I mean, crazy stuff. I mean, I got shot by a machine gun. I got blown up in Vietnam. I was in 5 helicopter crashes. I was left in the jungle, 500 North Vietnamese chasing me. I mean, you name it. It all happened to me, right? So, but I knew because I seen the scenes before. Oh, I get out of this. So I got all these medals for being brave, but it was like, you're not brave if you know you're okay. The brave guy has no inclination of what's going to happen, and there's real fear, and he does something. Me, I'm going, yeah, okay, been here, saw it already, and I dealt with it. So that's not the whole issue. So, anyways, I have this thing goes forward 50 years, and in this thing, it kind of ended with me actually going to India. I'm looking at it going, in India, this is Babaji's cave. I know I'm meditating in Babaji's cave at the end of this review. That's the end of that. And so I'm thinking, so all my life after that, it was like, I got to go to India. I got to go to India. I got to go to India. Right. So every time I planned a trip, something fell through. It didn't happen. I didn't have the money. I was married. I got kids. I got bills. You can't just. So finally, 50 years later, not planned, it's just how it happened. 50 years later, I'm in India. And there I am in India on the exact date, 50th anniversary of my first near-death experience. And I'm sitting in Babaji's cave with a friend, and I'm going, I'm here. This is the end of my life review. What now? What? It's like, oh, this is interesting. And then I'm getting heart pains and everything, and I can't breathe. And I leave the cave, and I'm walking along this cliff and get lost. And I'm standing on a 30-foot cliff, and all of a sudden, my heart stops. And I fall off this 30-foot cliff, and I land on a boulder down below, and I'm laying on my back, and I'm all twisted on this rock. And then the next thing I know, I'm consciously observing myself down there, going, "Oh, this is like the last time. That's my body down there, but that's not me. I learned that a long time ago. That's not me, right? That's just his old body laying down there." And so I'm looking around. You don't have a body, you don't have eyes. You're observing. You're aware. My friend is on this cliff looking down, and I'm going, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm up 30 feet with you." And he's looking down, and I'm looking down, and he's looking down, but he obviously doesn't see me. And then I'm looking down, and I see this huge cobra crawling across my feet and my ankles. Now, people go, "How do you know it was huge?" I'm just saying, when they're crawling over your feet, your calves, through your shoes, and all around your feet, and you can't see the beginning of it, and you can't see the end of it because they're coming out of grass and it's going over the rock, it's always going to be huge. I mean, my wife laughs. She goes, "First time you told the story, it was a 7-foot cobra. Now it's a king cobra." I go, "Well, look, in my mind, I never knew exactly how big it was. It's huge." And being Irish, every time I tell the story, it grows another foot, of course. I mean, it's got to be 15 feet. And but this huge snake, and I love snakes. It's not fear. It's really there's an affinity for snakes. I mean, I really love them. And I felt this great love for this cobra that's crawling across my legs. And his body's just, laying down there doing nothing, not breathing or anything. And then my love created this energy with me that I wanted to embrace the snake. And it was like, we got these paddles in the ambulances, they restart the heart, defibrillators, clear, boom, and, the heart starts. And it was kind of like, that's what the snake did for me. It was like, clear, boom. And I just jump up, and the snake is right there at my feet. And I'm reaching down trying to grab the snake, and I'm grabbing the snake, and my hands are around the body like this, meaning the fingers aren't touching. I'm grabbing the snake like this, and there's snake body between, the hands. So I don't know how big that is, but that's a big, big, fat animal, right? That's huge, right? And it's got its fangs, and it's trying to get away from me, and I keep grabbing it, and it's slipping through my hands, and I chase it through the grass to a waterfall, small little trickle of a waterfall. And then when I'm there, I'm thinking, It slithers up and goes behind the waterfall and it's sitting in a little cave. And it's looking at me and I'm looking at it. It's a wonderful experience. I didn't understand the connection between the Kundalini energy that you hear people talk about, and meditation with the the spine and the representation of the cobra, the snake with Lord Shiva and all. I didn't know any of that stuff, but I knew there was a connection there. And later on that trip, uh, about another month into that trip, if you believe it, I have a heart attack. I fall off a cliff, and guess, being a typical good guy, what I don't do, I don't go to the doctors. I go, well, I'm awake. I'm back. Who wants to go to a doctor, right? I mean, I got bruises and everything, Yeah. Anyway, so I'm in the desert in India, and we come to this like oasis, and there's a canyon with these big tall walls, and there's a canyon, kind of like Indiana Jones kind of thing with temple on each side. And there's this woman, Indian lady, and she has a big basket of snakes, cobras. I don't know, 5, 6, 7 of them, and all these, and she's banging it with a stick, making them all mad, and they're all kind of coming up with their tongue out, the tongue's out, and they're going, they're, she's trying to get people to come see them, she wants to show how dangerous they are. And I get mad at her. I go running over there, leave my friend. I go over there, and I'm standing right on top of the basket of snakes. I mean, my crotch, my jeans, I'm right over it. And so I got a leg on each side of this basket, and these snakes are coming up all around me, and I'm yelling at her. I got my hands flying. I'm doing everything you don't do around a snake. Snakes, slow movements, quiet. And I'm kind of like aggressive, like, what do you do with these snakes? And then one snake crawled up my leg, and it got in my shirt, wrapped around my stomach. Another one crawled up on the outside and wrapped around my neck. So I had 2 snakes on me, and the rest of them between my legs. My friend is scared. He he gets away. So I got these snakes there, and this one wrapped around my neck, and then it comes out to the side, and it's got its fangs hanging there. And it's looking me right in the eye, and I'm looking it right in the eye. And it opens up, and then all of a sudden my eyelashes go from the tongue, the tongue of the snake. So I'm getting butterfly kisses from a cobra. It's like, I don't know, inch, half inch from my eyeball. So I got these 2 fangs hanging right there, and the tongue is just going flickering my eyelashes. And I fell so in love. I felt this huge love for that snake, and its mouth was open, and I stared into the darkness of its inside, right? And I just kind of went, not just metaphorically, but actually almost physically. I found myself inside this dark cavern, inside the snake. It was like I'm in like a cave, and it's just me and the snake are one. It was the oneness I could feel. There was no separation between the snake and I. I was a part of it. It was a part of me. And of course, everybody in that little plaza was watching this. Everybody got away. They were all scared for me. They thought I was crazy, staring this thing, an eyeball. And it was minutes. I have no idea how long, but it was minutes. And it was just me and the snake, and it felt so good. And I understood the cobra at that time. I go, oh, it's all about love. It's all about the Kundalini energy. It's all this divineness. Because everybody's afraid of the cobra. When you see a cobra, everybody wants to kill it. See a snake, they want to kill it. They want to hurt it. I mean, even in Africa, it doesn't even have to be a cobra. People just see a snake. They want to, oh, there's a snake, go kill it, No, not a good thing. So anyway, there was this great thing there. And then when I went back a few years later to India after I met this guru, and I was at his ashram, and he had all these rooms. He says, I got a special room for you. It's the only one that's got a picture in it. When I went in there, it was a picture of Lord Shiva with a snake around there like this, right? And he says, I think you'll appreciate this. And he shows me the picture, and I'm going, because he hadn't heard the story or nothing, right? And I'm going, oh, I understand now. It's the whole thing about the Kundalini energy, and so that led me from there to there to there. So that's a very quick. I could talk about these first 2 near-death experiences, half a day each, easy. And there's a lot of stuff happening. And the third one, which you probably don't have time for, but that's was even more. But the bottom line is this: it doesn't matter about near-death experiences. What matters is your love. And if people are watching your videos about other people's near-death experiences, they feel the love of those experiences. That's a good thing. They don't have to go die. I mean, this the secondhand, it's even beautiful. So I think everybody's telling the same story, but it's like the Indian story of the 9 blind brothers that are taken to an elephant. One's holding its trunk, one's holding its foot, one's holding its tail, one's holding the ear, one's touching the side. So when they were asked to describe what the elephant was like, it was from their feeling, right? There's a guy at the tail that's like a snake, right? The guy with the big trunk is like a tree, So I think on near-death experiences, we're all spiritual travelers that are blind, and we've seen a part of something. And for us, that part is it. Realizing there's millions of other people that are hanging on and observing this thing differently, and they're all valid. They're all valid. So if somebody tells you, well, I saw Jesus, I saw my dog, well, great. That was valid for them. If somebody else just says, I was in the light, I felt the goodness, I felt the grace, I felt whatever it was, great. It doesn't, the actual events and how they unfold doesn't matter. What matters was they realize that they are one with the Creator. They realize that they are loved no matter what they do. And contrary to those people that have these events where they go to hell and all kinds of stuff, well, that's their fear-based beliefs, and they're probably going to experience those things. And I am not of that school. I think most churches have overdone this whole thing about hell. And if you really believe in a loving, compassionate, forgiving, tolerant, embracing love of a divine Father, no father would take his children and say, you didn't please me, you didn't obey me, you're going to go fire and damnation for eternity. That's not a God I believe in. So I believe in the oneness, meaning how could God send a part of himself to hell? Right? It's like, well, it's all God. Well, part of God's going to go to hell. So it's all one. And I'm telling people that there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow. It's all in this present now, which sounds great philosophically. People have a hard concept of, everybody always have a hard time. Well, it's only now. Everything is happening simultaneously. Meaning that even a mirror in a future focus on another now, you're already an enlightened being. You're already a Buddha. You've already reached that state. You're just not aware at this focus. What you're focusing on this dimension of time and space, you're focused on this, when all this other stuff is just as true. So when you wake up, basically it's a remembering, oh, I'm not any of these previous lives. I'm not any of these. I'm God and I are one. End of story. It's our ego, self-identity. I have a personal history. I had a wife, family. Therefore, I was in heaven. Then I was born. You believe in birth. If you believe in birth, then you believe in pain, suffering, joy, peace, love, death. You have to accept that. And if you accept all those things, then you got to believe in heaven and hell, or whatever you want to believe in. And then if you believe all that, then you probably believe in reincarnation. And I'm going, I don't believe in incarnation. None of it's real. None of it. We're God entertaining God, experiencing these things. So does it really matter that you're slower than me or somebody's faster than me? They're going to get more enlightened than I? No. Since all is now, it doesn't matter when you wake up. It's all the same. Nobody beats you at heaven. Nobody beats you to enlightenment. It's our destiny, which gets you down to this whole thing of this belief in free will. Do we really have free will? If our destiny is to waken up and be God again, is there any free will? Because no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter what happens to you in all these dream lives, your ultimate destination is to reawaken as the one. And if that's your destination, then where's the free will? No matter how bad you mess up, divine grace will take care of you. It's nobody's being lost, nobody's cut off. It's like, nobody's thrown away. Every piece of that one consciousness is important. That's all of us. And so that's like people when they pick up my newer books and they go, "Oh, Reverend Bill, in your copyright page," because the publisher gets all shook up, you're telling people they can take anything from this book and steal it and use it? Yeah. I mean, everything's from the one mind. When I'm dead, I don't care. It's the message. It's all I care about is the message. So when people, it's mine. It's like, this is my house, my car. I got $1 billion in the bank. Do you really? When you're dead, you have none of that. None of that. It's gone. Somebody else will be in your house. Somebody else will be spending your money. Somebody else will be driving your car. So there is no, I own this. You own nothing. Nothing. Not land, not a job, a title, power. Only thing you own is love. And so when this life comes to an end and things are happening, I believe that the only question that has to be answered when you're on the other side is, who'd you love? Not who loved you. Because everybody loves famous people and celebrities, and and if you're nice to, and you give somebody money, but you could be a truly good person and like a parent, and your kid's doing drugs and you kick them out because it's terrible. You want to do something to shake them up, to change them. That kid's going to hate you for 20 years, but you're doing the right thing for them. So the question was, it doesn't matter if they love you or not. Did you love them? And was that an act of love when you kicked them out and you disciplined them or whatever? So it all gets down to your motives, your intentions. So if your intention is always to bring people to their own spiritual evolution, then that's good. So in the end, not who loved you, but who did you love? And did you love those that didn't love you back? Did you love your enemy? Anybody can love somebody if they do something for them. Anyway, there you go. So that's the basic philosophy of that.
It's very profound. And I can, attest to that in my own way. The whole love thing. Like once I learned to love myself and figure that whole thing out, it's almost like you become a different person overnight where the shift is evident when you go from service to self to service to others. It's like you cannot help it. There's nothing more satisfying than doing that. You wake up every day thinking, what is on my agenda today? What am I going to do today? How am I going to contribute today to whatever? How am I going to leave this world in a better state than I found it? And it's effortless almost. Like the work doesn't feel like work. Just a few years ago, I wasn't doing any of this. I was just doing marketing work, for spiritual teachers and such. But it's not that I wasn't interested in this field. I was very much interested. I was studying on my own and learning on my own. And when I got an overnight, just, I don't know, it wasn't a guidance or an inspiration. It was really a knock on the head to say, you need to be more outward with what you're doing and stop hiding behind ghostwriting for this NDE and ghostwriting for that one. Stop hiding behind other people and be your own person and show up as you. Everything changed, and it was, like I said, effortless. You don't even have to do much, and it just happens the way it needs to happen. And it's like you say, that love that flows through you and all the work that you do, it's God working through you and through the other people that you're meeting with and working with and collaborating with. And you don't know really what the ripple effects are going to be down the road. And I really don't care. I'm going to be dead when a lot of the things that I've done maybe even mean something. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. But am I doing it? And am I doing it with the intention to serve? And that's all that really counts for anything for me. So I don't know what my experience will be when I die. I know that I'll have one. I don't know what it will be, but I mean, it's an exciting thing to look forward to, I guess.
Well, let's get real. Life living on this plane of existence, Earth life, okay? Experiencing a lifetime in a body, that's not necessarily reward. This is a tough journey. I mean, it is not easy. Uh, Pain is inevitable. You will have pain. If you're born, you will have pain sometime in your life, different kinds. The question is, you choose to suffer or not. And pain, no choice. You'll have pain. The key is don't turn it into suffering. Because even with great things with pain, great things happen from pain, like birth. You know, got a mother goes through a lot of pain, right? But she's not suffering. She's birthing something, right? So you have to think about your whole life as like I'm birthing something. Something's from this, something better will come. And I look at everything that happens to us, everything that happens to you, to me, it's supposed to. We've created it, we manifested it. Whether we can relate and connect the dots or not, everything happens because we created it. Our thoughts, our actions, former lives, what you read, what you eat, what you digest, what you believe, who you hate, who do you love. All these things manifest your present and your future. This is what you attracted to your life. And so all of a sudden now you get cancer. Well, there's a reason for it, even if you can't figure it out. Or all of a sudden good things are happening to you. And you go, how come this guy's got all this blessings? I got nothing. And again, physical blessings, material blessings, are they a curse or are they really a blessing? It's up to you. Somebody can be born in a rich family and end up being a drug addict and end up losing their lives, at 18, 25, they had more money they could spend and they just ruined their lives. You've seen that. And then you see somebody coming out of a poor hut someplace, and a dirt floor and everything. And then this guy becomes a lawyer and he becomes, helping people and he becomes a community leader. Boom. So it's not where you start your life. It's where you end. So the journey is about the ending. So as you journey through life, you always think about where am I going? What do I want to give? St. Francis had a real great prayer, and just to mention it in passing here, because it's kind of like a thing people don't understand. St. Francis went through a lot of pain and suffering and did a lot of things, but he gave a prayer that says it all. I don't know the exact words, but basically the essence of what he said was, you're not here to get, you're here to give. You're not here to be understood. You're here to understand. You're not here to be loved. You're here to love. And if you can adhere to that and realize, it's all about service, which is ultimate love. But when you're serving the world and all, you have to put yourself in the front of that line. You have to serve you. The fundamental thing is you have to serve your spiritual needs. If you're not loving your full self for who you are, and you're not forgiving yourself, then you can't really give love to anybody else. You can't really forgive anybody else. So you have to start at the basic foundation, meaning everything starts with loving yourself. And when you love yourself, you realize yourself and God are one, then you can love God. And then you can love your neighbor, and you can love your enemy, and you can love the cancer, and you can love everything that happens to you, because it's all supposed to happen. Just part of the one. Okay. So that's kind of where it's at. So I go around. I was just in last year, where I was at. I was in Prague. I think I was in Prague this time last year. Then I went to Zurich, and then I was in England and Iceland, and and all kinds of places. But it's the same message. It's always the same message. Love yourself. Forgive yourself. And have gratitude for everything that happens to you. Gratitude, right? And I mean this, like, if you're only grateful for the things that happen in your life that are good. I'm grateful I got a good spouse, I got a nice house, I got a great job. No, that's thankfulness. That's good. You're thankful for all these things. But gratitude says everything was a gift. Even the cancer I got, it's a gift. A divorce, it's a gift. Somebody died, is it all these things together? You have to have gratitude. When you lose somebody in your life, well, you're grateful for having them in your life. The fact that you missed them means you got something of value out of that relationship. So even that you should be grateful for, because if the person never existed, you wouldn't have these tears for somebody passing away, right? So you got to be grateful for that. So everything in your life, I tell people, look for the gift. Other people are telling people, well, there's lessons, everything that comes to you is a lesson. And I'm going, no, lesson's a punishment. Go sit in the corner of your child, because there's a lesson here for you to learn. Think about what you did. No, to me, it's like everything that happens to you, look for the gift. There's a gift in it. It's teaching you something. Again, not revolution, but evolution. Spiritual evolution evolves from the birth process, and the birth process is painful. And if you're not birthing love and birthing new ideas and birthing service and all this stuff, then the other side of that is dying, boom, and darkness. So go to the light within first. Spread that light, become a torchbearer. Spread it. Goodness out there. Anyway, that's my stupid philosophy, and that's how I get by. And believe it or not, no matter where I go in the world, people are open to that, no matter what religion they are, because they don't know what religion I am, and I don't give any dogma. I don't step on anybody's religious beliefs, because frankly, God has no religion. So whatever religion you got, if you're practicing it with love, good for you. Continue. It makes you happy, great, do it. Is it helping others? Great, do it. God don't care. God cares who do you love. Now, if you're practicing a religion that hates people and segregates people and separates, we're better than them, and judges people, no, you got to take a look at that organization you're belonging to. And it's like, oh, we're the only good people, everybody else is bad. I don't think that the oneness would echo that chorus with you. So, but whatever you believe, it's okay. Jesus wasn't a Christian. Buddha wasn't a Buddhist. Muhammad wasn't a Muslim. They were all in love with God. It's the followers that have added all these other little details and things. And this is what, religion should just be love. End of story. And if you express love in different ways, otherwise, most people are born into a set religion, set culture, their family and stuff, and they just go with that their whole life. They never change. They never question why I'm a Muslim or why I'm a Christian or why I'm Catholic or whatever, right? They just, well, that's what everybody is. And I tell people, look, if your family, social life and all that in your village, where you live and everything, that's all part of you, great. What difference does it make? Honor it. Just honor it. So that doesn't matter. But if you really want to start off in fighting your own religion, you have to start off with the premise that you know nothing, accept nothing, experience. And what you experience will be your religion. And to me, start off accepting nothing but love. From that, let it grow. But in the end, what you believe and you think, and this means that in the Bible, and this means that in the scriptures, what did you live? What did you give? Who'd you help? Serve. That's all that matters. So in the end, just love, forgiveness, and gratitude. Those three things will unite all hearts. Because everybody agreed on that. There's nobody I know. Yeah, I agree on all that stuff. No matter where I go, yeah, we agree on that. Great. Don't look for things, politics and religions divide people so much.
Yeah.
We're right, everybody else is wrong. We're going to heaven, you guys are going to hell. We're politically, we know everything. We know what's best for you. Live and let live. Just let it go. And somebody's really pushing all your buttons, you got to ask yourself, I'm letting them push my buttons. Because if you're happy and loving inside, no matter what they do, shouldn't make any difference. They make you uncomfortable, I'm not happy, but no, it's your choice. So love your enemies. And when you love your enemies, it doesn't mean you have to hang around them. Because some of your enemies are your family. I mean, let's get real. I mean, some people, you go to a family holiday and it's like, oh, why my God, where did I go? I feel bad. Everybody fights, everybody drinks, like, so I'm telling people, just because you have to love everybody doesn't mean you have to like everybody. And just because somebody's related to you doesn't mean you got to hang around. Learn the lesson you had to learn from them, wish them well. If they need, if they come over your house, feed them, be kind to them. But it doesn't mean you have to go out of your way for them. At some point, you have to recognize your individual self as part of this love. And so if somebody's beating you up emotionally and making you feel down and making you feel shame and guilt because you don't believe or think the way they do, or you're not doing the job they want to do, or the religion you had, or whatever, all these judgments, put yourself back. You don't have to be with them. You don't have to like them, but you have to love them. Difference. And there's other people in your life that you're going to forgive them, because forgiving them really frees you up. Forgiveness is all about you, freeing you up, taking the chains off, because that's holding you. You don't go up to them and say, oh, I forgive you, and they haven't asked for forgiveness. That's ego. What do you forgive me for? Anyway. So, and forgiving somebody doesn't mean that you condone anything they've done. If they molested you or beat you up or did, whatever they did, it's okay. I'm all right. It's okay. No, it's not all right. It's never okay. But you're not going to hang on to it anymore. It's like, I'm done with it. The game's over. You can think about it. I'm walking away. So that's what I'm trying to preach out there. And I do some preaching, but it's always on these subjects. So there you go. Not exactly the interview you were looking for. I didn't really touch too much on near death, but just kind of give you a semblance of it. So
I mean, you said some of the best things I've ever heard in a long time. So, and a lot of it was, things I needed to hear today. So thank you for that. You just showed up at the right time, saying the right things as usual. So thank you. But we can, on another day, go deeper into your NDEs and, talk about those things if you'd like.
I'm here for you, so it doesn't matter. So life is good. And by the way, if somebody wants, I got a bunch of books out there. We can mention that in passing. I got a few. My 4 newest books are sitting back there, but I've got probably 10 books out, and I got them in English, Spanish, German. That's all I got down, 4 languages. But most people around the world, English is. I'm finding almost every country I'm selling books in English. So.
And when you do decide to come to South Africa and teach and talk,
Yes.
yeah, let me know.
I would love to, I've had it on my radar for 20 years, but it was like, you can't just show up and then I got to find a place, somebody's house to talk in, or, or a church or something, and
We'll figure it out. We'll do something.
yeah, but somebody wants to put something together. I would love to go to South Africa.
Yeah.
I've seen so many great documentaries and films and movies all shot there. I'm going beaches, cliffs.
Oh, yeah. I
The
stay in
coast.
one of the best places. I'm right on the beach. I can hear the ocean right now. It's the
Oh,
best. It's the best. Now we're going into autumn, so it's a little bit cooler. But in the summer, it's the best.
yeah. Yeah, it's just got to be a beautiful place. Well, blessings and peace to you.